Welcome to Kevin's European Garage, and today I'm going to show you how to change an air filter on a Mini Cooper Countryman S. So today we're going to be changing this air filter. It should be changed approximately every 15,000 miles or so. It also kind of depends on where you live, depending on how dirty it is, how dusty the conditions are where you are. So it could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more, but it's relatively easy to check. So if you check every 15,000 miles and say it doesn't need to be replaced, then you can leave it in there for a little while longer, and we'll show you how to do this. You're only going to need two tools for this whole thing. You need a flathead screwdriver and a T25 Torx. Also, while you're changing the air filter in this car, it's really a good idea to double check your oil level. Make sure that is good. Go around, check all the tires, make sure all the tires look good. You don't have any bubbles on the sidewalls. Double check the pressure. Make sure your pressure is up to the full spec. Check all your lights. Make sure you don't have anything blown. Check your wiper blades, make sure that you have any torn wipers or anything like that. It's a really good idea just to do all this quick checks while you're changing this air filter, if you haven't done this already. If you need videos on how to do this, I have a video on how to change the engine oil, and I also have a video on how to change your wiper blades, and a video on how to change your cabin air filter, which is a little bit harder to check. It's not quite that easy, but if you haven't done it, it would be a pretty good idea to do it. So first we're going to do over here is we're going to start by removing this plastic hose from over here and just kind of put it aside. You got to be careful of these things. These things can get brittle over time, and you don't want to try to push on it or flex it too much, so that's why we're going to get it out of the way. So you just squeeze on this green tab, push it in, and lift straight up at the same time, and it comes right off. And you also have to remove it from this little plastic, there's a little keeper over here that this thing slides into. So remove it from here. And now you got this up and out of the way. So then now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to remove the plug from the mass airflow sensor right over here, and you squeeze this tab in, lifts up on over here on the tabs that hold it in place, and slide it back. And next we have the hose clamp. Step back out of the way. And the last three things are just these T25 screws. And before we lift it up, this cable is connected to the bottom of this cover over here. We're not going to disconnect it. It's kind of a pain to disconnect, so we're just going to leave it there. So we're not going to be able to take this thing completely out. We're just going to kind of lift it up and put it off to the side. So let's do that next. All right, so over here, we've already loosened up the clamp. Now let's remove the pipe. And as we do that, you can lift up on this and slide the pipe down. And you notice now that you can see your air filter. And you're just going to pull towards you once you get this pipe down underneath here, and pull towards you, and we just kind of tilt it up sideways. You don't have to move it too far. You don't have to tilt it up too much. This is all you need to do. Just kind of tilt it sideways out of the way, and this gives you complete access to the air filter. And it's very simple. You just reach down and lift it out. This air filter is in really good shape, so we don't need to actually change this one. So I'm just going to put this one back in there. And before I do, I always take a look inside the air box over here, just to make sure that there's no debris floating around in there. You suck something up, dead mouse, or whatever, or something like that in here. Just make sure there's nothing floating around inside here that shouldn't be. If there is, vacuum it out, remove it, do whatever. And now we're going to put the air filter back. Make sure it's seated flush in here. And this is. So now the next thing we got to do is you got to put this top back on over here. And we got these 3 tabs. And this thing has 3 other tabs sticking out over here. So these have to go slide into here. So now we just twist this thing in. Make sure we don't have pressure on this pipe or anything like that. And now we just gotta find those 3 tabs. And at the same time, lift up on your pipe and slide it all in at the same time. So once you get that thing lined up on those 3 tabs, again, once you get this thing lined up on the 3 tabs, you push it in, you'll kind of, once you're lined up, you can try to lift up the back section of it and it's not gonna move anymore on you. So that's how you know you're inside there. If you're not lined up, you're gonna be able to lift it up. So push it in there, kind of pull back a little bit on this pipe, and then drop it down and slide in over here your hose for the intake of the turbo. And you'll know that this hose is good when this thing is flush up against the mass airflow sensor. Okay, and now while we're doing that, we might as well just put the clamp back on. And it's nice enough, you can kind of tell where the clamp lines back up. This part lines up right over just before these 2 tabs. There is also another tab on the back side over here that helps you line it up too. As long as you got this over here, it's in the right spot. Tighten it down tight, but not too tight. We'll plug in the mass airflow sensor. Don't want to forget that because you'll get a check engine light. Next we have this hose. Just push straight down on it. You don't have to push down too hard and you hear a click. And then you know you're in. Then you come over here to this connection right over here and just push the hose back on. Hold it in place over there. And this is all set. And lastly, we have these 3 T25 Torx screws. And that's it. So thanks for watching me change this air filter on my 2014 Mini Cooper Countryman S. This should also apply for a few other vehicles, so down in the description below I will put down all the vehicles that this should apply for. So don't forget to check out the rest of my channel. I do have other mini DIY videos and I got more to come. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Don't forget to ring that notification bell and I'll see you soon.